Hey everybody, I am back with another beer review and a little bit of football too. Why not, right? Today's beer we have, we were at the grocery store yesterday and I told my husband, go pick out a beer that I can try tomorrow for when after I watch the Bucs game so we can talk about the beer and the game. And I should have known that if I sent him to go get a beer for me, that it was going to be bad. It's going to be not bad, not like it's a bad beer, but it's going to be rough for me because it is a porter and it is dark, and these are not something typically that I would ever drink or ever pick out, but I'm trying to be optimistic and I'm trying to be open-minded when it comes to these different types of beers and everything. So this is a porter. It's 3.5%. It is, it looks like it's called D.Carnegie and Company. I'm sure I said that really, really wrong. We're here in Sweden, so we got this at the grocery store. It just says contains corn malt, which is, I can't remember what that is. Best before February 21st, 50 centiliters. It's out of England, so it's called a half and half. It's a porter with a light lager, so it's a half and half, and it's out of England. And I'm trying to read this. I'm reading it in Swedish, trying to translate it for you guys as quickly as possible. It has it says it has notes of coffee in it. It's dark. It's a blend, and it's a balanced, and it has hints of honey and stuff. So we'll see what happens. So I know this is it's gonna be dark. So yeah, let's go ahead and break into this. I don't think this is a twist. Okay. Oh, it smells dark. Get our glass. It still has water in it from us because I just rinsed them. I rinsed them a little bit before oh, look how dark that is. Big thick head. It's really, really dark for being half and half. I mean, you can kind of see the hints of, I think of like, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, the hints of like gold and amber. Maybe if I hold it this way, you can kind of see like the hints of like the amber where the lager comes in, but I mean, I hold it up to the light and it's so cloudy. It's got a really dark, like some of the heads are really light. This one is pretty tan, kind of similar to that color. Okay, maybe a little bit lighter than that. It's dark. It's black. It looks like coffee. Okay. It smells good. It smells roasted. It smells really dark. Like a really dark beer. But you have that scent of lager. When you breathe in, you can almost taste it in the back of your throat. Like a liquor or like a barrel-y type. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. This is chilled, by the way. I have had this in the fridge since yesterday. Okay. It's not bad. It's dark, but I think with it being a half and half lager, half porter, it makes it a lot easier to drink. It looks really intimidating, but it's not, it doesn't taste as intimidating as it looks. I really like it. I don't think I could drink all of this, but I wouldn't mind finishing finishing off the glass. It's like I said, it's 3.5%, so it's not even gonna. You're not gonna feel it. Most beers, I think, in America that you can get at a gas station or a corner store are gonna be at least 6 or 7%. I don't think they sell much at 3.5%. Get back to me on that. Let me know what you guys, when you go into a store, does it even have the percentage on the beers? I can't even remember anymore because I'm here in Sweden and I can't remember if they say what percentage of alcohol they are. But anyways, it has a really smooth, kind of like a sweet taste when you drink it. When you first put it in your mouth, it's kind of like sweet and it goes down very smoothly. It's easy to drink, being as dark as it is. It has a nice crisp sweetness to it. It's not tart or bitter or anything like that. It has a nice aftertaste. It's not like some of those darker beers you drink, and it's just like it hits you right here, and it's just so hard to drink. But this is not hard to drink at all. It's not bad. It's really good. I'd recommend it if you've never tried something like a dark beer before and you want to try a dark beer. I say give it a shot. I mean, it being that it's half and half, it makes it a lot easier to drink. So I would definitely give it a shot if you've never had, a darker beer or a porter or anything like that before, but you're drinking lagers. So let's get on to this football. Okay, I just watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Pittsburgh Steelers game, and I'm glad that it was preseason because you have that opportunity to see where the problems are and where you can fix them. And I mean, I don't want to sit here and just talk about all the problems that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had, because I did see quite a few, but I'm not going to sit here and just talk about that. What I'm going to try to do, since I'm more of a Miami Dolphins fan, but I want to represent Tampa Bay as well because I'm from Tampa Bay. I'm going to talk about Tampa Bay, but I'm also going to talk about Pittsburgh Steelers because I believe both teams, they played well. Pittsburgh Steelers, like my husband asked me last night, who do you think is going to win the game tomorrow? Because this is when we watched it. It was like a day after you guys. Who do you think is going to win the game? Do you think Tampa Bay is going to win the game? I said, well, who's Tampa Bay playing? And he said, Tampa Bay is playing Pittsburgh Steelers. And I said, well, I'd like to see Tampa Bay win, but I'm not sure they will because the Steelers are a really good team. And I just, he's like, well, who do you think is going to win? And I'm like, I really don't know. I said, it really depends on who they have, who's playing this season. It depends on a lot. So, I mean, who they drafted and how the coaches, they have a new coach this year as well. I mean, everybody has to work together. And that's kind of what I didn't see in this preseason game with the Buccaneers. I didn't see them all working together. I saw quarterbacks over here kind of doing their own thing, trying to find somebody in the offensive team to throw to, and that wasn't always happening. I mean, there was so many incomplete passes. There were so many flags thrown on this game between the Steelers and the Bucs. There was a flag thrown. I swear to God, it was like every single play there was a flag thrown. There was some foul, there was some problem. So that was crazy. And it wasn't all Bucs. It wasn't all Steelers. It was like half and half. It was a mix. But the bottom line is it seemed like Tampa Bay wasn't working together. They weren't maybe communicating with everybody that they should have been. And that goes for the offense and that goes for the defense, because there was plenty of times when I saw the Steelers, they were able to catch the ball, whether it be an interception or just catch the ball and run with it. I mean, for example, what was it? The quarterback, Dobbs, in the first half, ran that, I was like, I don't know how many yards, 32 yards or something. He was able to run that long run. He's a quarterback. He should not have made it past all of our players in order to make that run. That should have never even happened. And I really feel that our defense, they weren't covering the Steelers. So I really think they need to go back and look at this game and review it and see that they weren't working together at all. I'm going off my notes here, so I need to go back on my notes. I did take not as many notes as yesterday, but I did take some notes. So I'm going to go back to the first quarter. That first touchdown by Godwin, was great. That set a really good tone, I think, for the Buccaneers. But what we noticed, because me and my husband were watching this game, what we noticed is every time the Bucs got down to like the 20-yard line or something, right around there, where they had, it was their ball, and they were down the 20-yard line, the Steelers put up a wonderful defense. They were able to get that far, and then all of a sudden it was like a wall, and the Bucs couldn't get any further. And I think that's where that really kind of screwed them when they tried that 2-point conversion instead of like a touchdown or a kick, and they didn't get it. And the Steelers actually intercepted it, that should have never even happened. And if they wouldn't have tried to do that, they might have tied at the end of the game. There's a possibility they could have tied. And I mean, they need to look at a lot. Washington on the Steelers, I thought he was doing great. They really need to cover him. If we play Steelers again, they really need to watch out for Washington because he was doing a really, really good job. They really, really need to cover him. Let's see. There was a lot of handoffs, but I didn't really see them lose any loss of yards, so that was okay. If you're doing a lot of handoffs and you're not losing any yards, fine, whatever. But it's so risky when you're doing the handoffs because if you're pushed back 5 yards and you needed 15, now you're at the 4 and 20 or 3 and 20, and that's really hard to gain 20 yards in your next one. They really need to study their defense. They need to work together. It really felt like the quarterback was by himself and the quarterback was by himself and the offense was out kind of doing their own thing sometimes. Until the end. The fourth quarter wasn't bad. Third to fourth quarter. I think if it wasn't for, I know I'm going to butcher these names, Schnell and this coolest name in the world, Uglemeyer. I know I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. He has the coolest name in the world. I think if it wasn't for those two players on the Bucs team, it would have been worse. It would have been a bad game, a bad start. So I think those are two key players for the Bucs. They're really good. I think maybe they need to try to spread out the ball a little bit. Like Griffin, he kept throwing to Schnell in the end, and if the Steelers or anybody catches onto that, they're gonna block him no matter what. So I would have somebody else just as good as him that you can alternate between the two. Because if they're always gonna block him because they know that he's one of your best players and you're gonna continue to throw it to him, then you're never gonna be able to get it to him, or you're gonna have the risk of him getting an injury. What do we have? 2 players this first preseason game have an injury? That's scary. Thank God it was just preseason. I think there was just so many missed opportunities because the Bucs were not covering the Steelers like they should have been. Every time the Steelers had the ball or took the ball, our defense was like either nowhere to be found or they were running in all different directions. I mean, there was plenty of times where I saw the Steelers run with the ball and here's our defense. One's over here, one's over here, one's over here, one's over here. And they're like running like all different directions. It's like, what the hell is going on? This guy has the ball. Go after him. What are you guys doing? It was just very, I don't know. Watson was doing well in the offense. He was doing really, really well. Talked about Griffin. I didn't know what the heck was going on there towards the end. He just kept throwing the ball at the ground. I understand at some point you want to throw incompletes because you're scared that the other team is going to try and intercept the ball, but the problem is he threw so many incompletes, it makes you nervous. It's like, is there no other good players on that team that you have to continually throw an incomplete? There's no other people on that field that you can throw to? where, is defense on the Steelers that good that you have nobody open? I mean, there were so many incomplete passes towards the end. It was unbelievable. It's like, or out of bounds or something like that. You've got to have more than two good players. There's got to be more than two good players on that team. If those two players are completely blocked by the other team, and you have three other players out there, but they're not any good, and you're just going to throw it incomplete. Try building up those other players so that everybody on the team is good, not just your two good players, and then those two guys are blocked. So I might as well just throw it incomplete because I can't get these two, and then trying to run it. Was the defense line that the Steelers had, anytime the quarterback would try to run our quarterback on the Bucs, that's when you're going to lose yards. Dobbs did it. Dobbs did a great job on the Steelers. He was able to run it, and we were not able to stop him as quickly as we should have. But they were all over us. They had a wonderful defense on the Steelers. Wonderful. They had a really good offense, too. I mean, the Steelers are a really good team. It was probably a really hard team to play against in the beginning, but then again, it's really good. Sometimes you want a really hard team in the beginning because then you want to see what you're going to be up against and where you need to fix and what kind of mistakes need to be changed and fixed and who needs to be put in and look at different strategies and everything like that. So sometimes it's good to play a really hard team in the beginning because then you don't get as cocky. Overall, I think it was a really good game. It was really tight at the end. It was really kind of scary. I think the Steelers were sweating a little bit in the end. I think they did a really good job. I mean, they played really hard. There were a couple little things that they need to work on, but there was things that the Steelers needed to work on too. They had quite a few flags on the play for holding and stuff like that, which we did too. But overall, I think the Bucs did it. They tried really hard. They didn't give up, which was really good. Sometimes when you get to the fourth quarter and you only got 5 minutes left or 8 minutes left or whatever, you see the team kind of start to break down and give up, and they get unmotivated. But the Bucs really fought to the end, and I really thought that was great. That's something you don't always see. So I thought they did a really good job there. They just need to tighten up a little bit, focus on working together, maybe a little bit more communication between everybody on the team. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, that's just me looking, I don't know everything about football. I just, I grew up watching football with my brothers. I grew up playing football outside every day after school because we didn't have iPhones and iPads and internet and all this stuff. That came later when I was in high school. But we always played football, and I always watched. There was always a game in my house on TV. It seemed like every time you turned around, there was a game on. So that's pretty much where I've learned football from my brothers. And you pick up, even if you're not watching the game and it's just on in the background, you're subconsciously learning. You're hearing things over and over again. So I can't tell you that I grew up watching every single game. I like to watch college ball. And Thanksgiving. That's one thing I miss about being here in Sweden is during Thanksgiving in America, it's like family and football, and it's two beautiful things, and it's that's one thing I really miss. But now we have a football. We went out and got a football, which was really cool. My husband joined the local team here to see if he could. He wanted to play some. They have an American football team or whatever they play in this city, this part of the city, and he went ahead and he's going to join them, and he talked to them, and they start in January. So we've been throwing the ball back and forth and stuff like that. And we have a son. He's really young though. He's only 5 months, so I think it'll be fun for him to kind of see football, soccer and football, which we play both, and we watch hockey too. I like my Tampa Bay Lightning and Tampa Bay Rays, not the Devil Rays, because that's what they are anymore. The Tampa Bay Rays. And it's funny because I have an old Tampa Bay Devil Rays hat that I'll have to wear sometime. But yeah, anyways, sorry for rambling. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching me do the beer review. The porter, the half and half lager, half porter. Listening to me ramble about the Bucks and the Steelers game. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend, if it's the weekend for you. Yeah, have a wonderful day. Hey-do.